Hey guys, welcome back. I got another video update here. Lots of stuff on the bench right now. Lots of stuff going on. A couple things I completed, and a lot of things I've been working on. So I won't waste any time here, and we'll get right to it. I think you'll find this one a little exciting. So I'll start off with these two. These are Central Oregon and Pacific GP38's. Unit 2094 is a GP38-2, and Unit 3204 is a GP38-3. To start, 2094 is an Athearn ready-to-roll GP38-2, ex-Burlington Northern Santa Fe. I added new truck side frame sanding lines, a majority of detail parts, but I kept the KD couplers on there because they look better with the with these kind of units. I think they look a lot better. And I did a lot of detailing. It's all custom paint. Decal wise, I used for safety, like all the safety placards, the warning labels. What those are is a highball graphic sheet, which I think are really nice. I use those for the units, and they make a fair representation for that. The decal wise, for numbers and the actual CORP, I used an NS sheet for SD40. The numbers are very similar, so I used those, cut them out, and then put them on there. The CORP is made from several letters from a microscale alphabet decal sheet, and they look really well. What they lack, however, is the Rail America owned and operated decal. That's usually underneath the ownership, or sometimes below the number. I don't have those because those aren't available. Unit number 2 is the GP38-3, which is 3204. This is an Atlas unit which I put on an Athearn frame to match the height of all my other Athearn Jeeps. See, the Atlas ones are actually slightly lower, ride lower I should say, compared to an Athearn unit which rides too high. The Atlas units are in scale, but the Athearn ones aren't. And when put together, they had a major height difference, and I had to switch that. But since the majority of my units are Athearn ready to roll, Athearn blue box, I decided to just switch the Atlas one to an Athearn frame to match the height with everything else, because by now most of my Athearn units would be impossible to change around to that. So I just got an Athearn frame, spare one I had from a GP50 that I was working on, and I got the frame. I kept the trucks, I added those, and then I got a new fuel tank for it from a GP38-2 which I had for parts. I salvaged that and added that, so it looks really good. The units look really good as a pair. They're here in my yard right now, kind of waiting for an assignment. Probably switch some grain cars around, and they look really good with the sister unit 3328. You can see that those look really nice. So those are two GP38's I've been working on. I got some bigger EMDs next here. Alright, so next up I have a pair of Rail America HLCX SD40-3's which I have recently completed. I'll go ahead and start with Unit 2715. 2715 is an SD40-3, straight SD40 rebuilt to a -3 with a computer electrical system. It got a major overhaul when I was working on it. I rebuilt the trucks. The side frames were SD40-2, the newer ones, which for comparison, I have my CP Rail SD40. I'll compare a couple things on what I changed on the trucks. First off, you'll notice these holes on the actual side frame in between the brake pads. I'm not exactly sure what those are for. I don't remember what those are for, but it doesn't matter right now. Though there was a third right in the middle that I filled in. I kind of shaved it down and then cleaned it up, repainted the side frame itself, so those blend right in. And the SD40's use this side frame instead. originally they were these kind of side frames, because this is actually an SD40-2. It came with these side frames, and see, here's that middle hole. That's what I filled in. So that is gone now. That's all filled in. What else I removed was there's this big drawbar in between the fuel tank and the outside of the truck. I don't remember what that is for either. But anyways, it wraps around and then reconnects to the opposite side of the truck side frame right here. I cut that off because the SD40 side frames don't have that, but the SD40's do. That's what I'm talking about right here, is this. That drawbar that wraps around the truck. All that had to be cut off, shaved down, sanded, cleaned up, and again I repainted the side frame so that all got blended in relatively well. The unit itself, you can see a couple things that kind of give it away to what it used to be, and the big thing here is the newer grills compared to older SDs, which use these SD40 and SD40 grills. Sorry. What I'm going to do is probably cut these off and then change them to these. I'll have to do that here, but for now it's kind of just it's kind of a fair representation. I'll get around to it probably later, but it's kind of gone through a lot of work right now. I did a lot of extra detail work. I had to kind of patch up some of the repaintings. The handrails were damaged, and I had to fix those, but I kind of made it look a lot better. So it's coupled right here with 6091, and I'll go ahead and get started on this. This is a bit interesting here. This is a little more complex of a rebuild. This is a 6091, HLCX 6091. It's a former CN SD40-2, SD40 actually. That was purchased by Alstom Canada, and it was rebuilt to an SD40-2 CLC. CLC standing for Complete Locomotive Control. It's a computer system where you can actually start the locomotive inside the cab. Anyways, it's designated as a SD40-2 CLC, but it's actually an SD40-3. But that's what it's designated as a CLC. Anyways, it got major modifications. For example, I had to modify the cab somewhat. There was a lot of things that need to be changed. I added that bell there. The bell, there's some plated over classification lights above the number boards. There's all kinds of piping airlines on the roof. There's the new K3H, which the unit has. I think it's a K3H. And this is an interesting little feature here. You can see the height difference in the fans. I also added the big old snow shields that are covering the air filters on the side. When they rebuilt the unit, they kept those, and when it went to HLCX, they were still intact, which is surprising. So I thought it'd be really cool to model that, in which I did. The same thing, same kind of features with the trucks. I rebuilt the trucks to SD40. I added new grills, all kinds of detailed parts. A lot of reworking went into the actual front of the locomotive here. I had to completely make that plow. I kind of modified a Details West plow and kind of modified it to match the CN SD40 plow, which is a very strange looking plow, by the way. I had to get it as close as possible, and I think it came out to a fair representation of one of those plows. The front, you got all the details there. I added those CN lamp style ditch lights, which are kind of interesting. The nose lights, that's my own piece there I made. The handrails are a little different as well. They're actually handmade. I modified a set of Athearn railings to accommodate these new side railings here, the actual railings leading up alongside the steps. These are modified, and CN and CP rail use a very strange looking handrail, handrail guard here on the front and the back of their units. I don't know what that is, but that's like their own design really. I'm not sure. It's just something they use in Canada. The unit kept these, of course, and I made them by using fine brass rail and bending it, and then repainting them, and I put them on there. So that looks really good. Blended in well. So those are my CORP SD40-3's, which I have in lease service as well on the model railroad. I think they look really good. And lastly, there are two things on the workbench that I'm working on. I'll just show them to you briefly here. I better go with this first. Recently, I was on a trip and I picked up a Proto 2000 GP7. I got this unit at a really good deal for $60 at this hobby shop in, I believe, Indiana. I think it was, yeah, it was Indiana. Anyways, it's a Santa Fe blue bonnet. You can see I kind of stripped most of the lettering off so far. It's going to get repainted black. And I got this so I could redo my runaway train GP7s here. I'm going to get all Proto 2000 units and rebuild the last strip, but I won't give away any further details until I know for sure that the project will go on. But when it does, I'll get into a little more detail about it, so we'll see how that comes anyways. So I think it looks really good. It's really nice presentation for Proto 2000, and the detail is really good. It's got the cut bars, the handrails, the cab doors actually open, which is nice. It's kind of in the first stages of demolition, rebuilding, and modifying before paint. So it's there, and I think it looks really good. So that's waiting for further work. I'm waiting to get some parts in the mail. Lastly, I have this another HLCX SD40-3. This is formerly an SD45. It's going through some extensive modifying. You can see it's in the near end stages of decaling and then weathering. To start, I got a Athearn Ready to Roll SD45. It was a Great Northern. I stripped it overnight. I repainted it with PR&R Tuscan, and then I made my own batch of blue, airbrushed that on there, then added the stripes. The numbers are already on, but only on this part of the cab. On the number boards on the back, I don't have them on yet because I'm lacking 4 2's, which I need for the number boards. A couple decals have been applied, but not many of them. The HLCX still needs to go on. Both the HLCX and the numbers are the interesting ones that will require a little extra work, as on some of the HLCX blue and maroon units, they had numbers that were similar to Union Pacific's number design, where they have a black outline. And what I'm going to have to do for that outline on these numbers is I'm going to have to take my really fine brush, and I'm going to have to go around the number and outline it with black. It takes a little bit of time, but it'll look a lot better once that's complete. But the numbers right now are on. You can kind of still see the decal film. I got to take this through and get it gloss coated, and that'll blend all that right in. It's in the process, like I said, of decaling right now. It's not complete yet. On this side alone, I've just started applying the reflective safety stripes to the sill, and that's from the highball graphic sheet, which I have here for HLCX. This is a really nice set. It's got all the numbers and everything that I needed for it, so I picked that up, and that's what I'm using for this unit. It's coming along. It needs some details, but it'll all come along when it does. I'm possibly going to have power ditch lights added to this, so that'll be interesting. I'm probably going to add plow-mounted ditch lights to the pilot there, just above the plow. We'll see how that comes out. I need to get some parts for it, though. I don't have any wire or any of that brass rod to make the coupler bars or anything like that, so I'll need to get some more parts for it. But it's coming along. I think it'll look really well. And this is an Athlon ready to roll model, so it's got the improved drive, so it's going to roll like, it'll roll real nice. And it's going to go in service with my other two SD40's over there. So we'll see how that comes out. But I decided to take the time to show you a couple things that was on the bench, and I did. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll get some more videos in as they come along, as stuff progresses. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.